And we are live. Welcome to the new episode of Ask Me About My Draculas. If you are unfamiliar with the show, we are explaining supernatural TV shows, books, and movies. One person on the show has to be unfamiliar with what we are talking about. I am one of your hosts, Kel McDonald, and you can find my work at kelmcdonald.com. I draw comics and am kickstarting one right now about werewolves that if you watch the show you're probably interested in, so you should go fund that right now. It's the Better to Find You with Kickstarter.
And I'm Ma'at Crook. I'm an artist, a speaker. I'm a colorist assistant I do what's called flatting. And my Twitter is at MAATCROOK. That's me.
And then our guest is...
I am Elizabeth Alley, formerly a marketing manager at Things from Another World, a comic book retailer, and current stay-at-home mom. You can read my weird, foodie, geeky blog at Lizzbert, Lizzb like boy, ERT.wordpress.com. And yeah.
This week we are talking about What We Do in Shadows. Liz, what do you think What We Do in Shadows is about?
So it seems like it is the real world with vampires, just from like the bit that I read about, that it appears to be a bunch of vampires all living together, kind of wrestling with the modern world.
All right.
That's accurate.
Yeah, that's really accurate.
Oh, well. I'm sure there's lots of details.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Flight of the Conchords?
I've seen bits and pieces of it, yes.
I haven't, but I think the two main guys are the ones who did the movie.
Oh, okay.
And they were two of the stars. Is that right, Kel?
Yes, two of the members of Flight of the Conchords are in the movie and made the whole thing.
The Taika Waititi
I don't know any of their names.
and Jermaine Clement. That's their names. They were the directors, writers, and two of the stars.
Okay.
The plot is that it's a fake documentary.
Okay.
Is following the house where 4 vampires live. The first one you meet is Viago, who is kind of a prissy dandy type vampire. And then there is Vlad, and he's played by
Jermaine Clement.
No, Jermaine's Vlad.
Yeah, he's Vlad. And then Viago is Taika.
Yeah. So then, and then Vlad is a more like Vlad the Impaler style vampire type.
Only he was once very powerful, but now he's kind of a loser.
Okay. All right.
The way that they introduce Viago is his alarm goes off, and then he goes around the house and wakes everyone up as the camera.
And Taika, in interviews, said that he based his how his character acted off of his mother.
So, like, what kind of a mother does he have?
Very attentive, a little codependent.
Yeah.
Does he like seeing them awake?
Very pleasant.
So he goes around the house and is like, "Hey, how'd you sleep? It's time to wake up."
He's suburban mom vampire.
Yeah. And he's the one that like cleans the house. When he goes to wake up Vlad, it's like Vlad is against the wall of red sheets, and there are vampire ladies like caressing him.
Oh, perfect.
Viago quickly like closes the door. And then Vlad comes like pokes his head out, and the vampire chicks in the red sheets are gone. And he goes, "I need 10 more minutes."
He goes to wake up another vampire, and his name is Deacon, and he's hundreds of years old too.
But he's the youngest vampire.
Yeah, like he's 175 or something like that.
And the other two are like 500 and 300.
Okay.
Deacon used to be a Nazi. A Nazi vampire.
Is he still white power or?
No, he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
What?
He's just an asshole. It seems like he joined the Nazis because he liked the uniform.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that why he joined the vampires? He thought the vampires were super cool?
Well, no, you get to find out why he joined, how he ended up joining the vampires. Is walking along, peddling his wares.
Mm-hmm.
First we have to introduce the last vampire is a vampire that lives in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like a Nosferatu rat monster.
But his name is Peter, spelled with a Y.
Yeah. Peter, we're having a house meeting if you wanna, and then Peter just, like, takes the chicken that, Viago has brought him and, like, devours it, and then he goes, okay, and then just leaves.
And Peter's 3,000 years old.
Yeah, and so there's a great line where they're all at their house meeting to discuss why the dishes haven't been done in 5 years. And Vlad asks, where's Peter? And Viago goes, Peter is 3,000 years old. He is not coming to the house meeting.
So why is he eating chickens? Do they ban, like, feeding on humans?
Well, yeah, I think it was just a snack to wake him up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's that codependency again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
So then you find out like how Deacon became a vampire, and he basically says, I was selling my wares and I saw a big spooky castle, and was like, whoa, that's a spooky castle. And then a giant bat monster came and bit me and said, you are now a vampire. And then the screen like pulls out, and Peter's sitting next to him, and Deacon goes, and that was Peter. And we're still friends.
Excellent. It was a bonding experience.
And Deacon now in the he was a peasant before, became a Nazi because he liked the uniform, but now he says he's the bad boy of the flat.
So he's like the Puck.
Yeah.
Well, so his example that he gives of being a bad boy is, I'm supposed to pay rent, but I don't.
But I don't.
So he's really hard. Yeah, I can see.
He likes erotic dancing. That's one of his things that he enjoys doing, his hobby.
Awesome.
He also likes knitting.
This is the bad boy we're talking about?
Yeah.
Does he like knit like skull things?
No, it was just, I don't even know what it was. Knitting.
It's a sweater.
Yeah. Yep. It's supposed to be socks, but there are no toes.
And then there's a part where Deacon is talking about the best thing about being a vampire is that you're automatically really sexy.
Yeah.
But Deacon is like super greasy and gross looking.
I do love his jacket though.
Okay.
The old school military jackets with the buttons and ropes. I like that look. I would take that jacket.
I've seen it.
I would knit it. I would knit that jacket.
But so their first argument is about the dishes and how they haven't been done in 5 years.
5 years.
That is because Deacon has not done the dishes in 5 years.
Yeah. They have a spinning task thing that it's supposed to, like, dishes. Deacon's name has been turned to the dishes for 5 years.
I get it. He says no.
Yeah.
What are the dishes? Like a lot of glasses that had blood?
A lot
in
of glasses with blood on them.
Yeah.
Excellent.
At the end of the argument, I think that there's an homage to Lost Boys, where in Lost Boys, the vampires would fly towards each other and fight.
Sure. They do that in True Blood too. They kind of like fly up and like hiss at each other.
Okay, but they wrote this story and started filming it before True Blood. It was back when Blade and Underworld were being filmed.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
They had it had been in the writing stage for years, and then all the other prep work for years, and then they filmed 150 hours of it and edited it down to under 2 hours. So they had been working on it for a long time.
Jeez Louise. I wonder what was in the other 148 hours.
I'm curious, yeah.
Who did the dusting?
The whole thing is improv. Taika and Jermaine had written it, and they had written like a plot, how they wanted some of the events that they wanted to happen, and they didn't give anybody a script. They just would when Jermaine and Taika felt like it, they would say, okay, now this is what you're feeling right now. This is something I'd like you to do, and then they would go to the other person, the other actor, and say, okay, you're feeling this, and you, no matter what someone says, you want this to happen. And so then they would improv it.
Did they pull it off? I mean, did it seem...
It's a really funny movie, but that's probably why they had like 100 and something hours of footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that. So where would you place this movie in like the pantheon of like recent vampire films?
Well, there's a little bit of like everything. Because like I said, like Peter's like a Nosferatu vampire.
There's no sparkling vampires.
Oh, well. Darn it.
The next like bit of the movie is them going out to just like hang out, and they pass by a bunch of like other vampires that they know in New Zealand. And so there's like 2 little girl vampires that are like, yeah, we got some pedophiles to meet up with us, and that's gonna be our dinner tonight.
Nice.
And so there's like little nods to other vampire movies, and the vampires they kind of like say hi to. And
Oh, okay. Okay.
I wonder how many of them are just goth people that they met on the street while they were.
and then we meet Deacon's minion, and we interview her. And
I can't. Is her name like Catherine or something like that?
her name's Janet. It began with a J.
Okay, I'll look it up.
And she is very excited about eventually becoming immortal.
Jackie is her name.
So she's like a groupie?
She's like his Renfield.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So she like does grocery shopping for them, and he tells her that she needs to come over and do the dishes.
And it's been going on for probably a couple of years, and she's getting sick of it.
Yeah, she like tells him like, I'm almost 40, so I would like to kind of be a vampire before then.
Yeah.
Kind of like the long-suffering girlfriend who wants to get married.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
I didn't make that connection.
Okay.
But she is married and has a husband and kids.
Yeah. And at one point during the filming, she's pregnant.
Oh, really? Wait. So she still wants to be a vampire? If she was pregnant and became a vampire?
They ever mentioned that she's pregnant. It was just the actress was pregnant.
Oh, okay. I was like,
but when Jackie goes home, it's obvious she has kids and a husband. So,
that's hilarious.
Like,
I think she thinks she can have it all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, women today, we're told we can have it all: career, family, and vampire immortality.
Yeah.
So then they tell her to bring virgins to the house. She says, okay, so how old do you want these virgins? And then she basically is asking if he wants kids but doesn't want to flat out say that.
Oh.
And he goes, no, like 15.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
no younger than 15.
Because to him, I guess being hundreds of years old, that's an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, people lived to like 30, so that's middle age.
Yeah. And then he said, no one older than her.
Yeah.
Oh.
So no one older than her, no one younger than 15.
Okay. Okay.
So she calls up.
Part of why she was asking was just because she was going to get her friends that are virgins to come.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, she calls up someone who made a nasty rumor about her in middle school,
Yeah.
and then, like, her ex-boyfriend from middle school.
From
And it's
middle
kind
school.
of implied, like, she's just been going down the list of people she doesn't like, and now she's kind of trying to, like, dig for people that were mean to her in the past.
She's grasping at straws.
Yeah.
So do they kill the people when they feed off them?
They kill the lady that caused the mean rumor about her.
Okay.
But when
Okay.
they invite her and the guy over, they do the Lost Boys thing, where they tell them that the spaghetti they're eating is worms.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then they say, we saw Lost Boys and thought that was really funny, so we're doing that to everyone now.
Yeah.
Awesome. So they are vampire, pop culture enthusiasts as well.
Yes.
Okay.
But it doesn't work, right, Kel? Am I remembering right?
Later on, it doesn't work. So, at first it does work, but Deacon can't say spaghetti right.
You say like Pischetti?
That's exactly what he says. He says Paschetti. Would you like some Paschetti?
Hilarious.
In the entire scene.
Which
And then they
breaks my heart, because my little brothers said biscotti with a B.
Aww.
and then there's a hilarious chase scene of them chasing down the guy because he tries to escape.
Oh, okay.
That ends with Peter jumping him.
Oh, okay.
His name is Nick.
Yes, and his name's Nick, and he comes back because it turns out that Peter has turned him into a vampire.
Oh, really?
And then Deacon gets mad because he's not the hot, young, new vampire on the scene. And it's clear the older vampires like Nick better than him.
Yeah. And
Well, how does Jackie react to this? She's been wanting to be a vampire forever. Now her ex-boyfriend is a vampire?
Yeah, Jackie gets super annoyed and says that this is sexist bullshit, and if I was a dude, I would have been turned into a vampire years ago.
Yep. It sounds like it.
they also get annoyed with Nick because Nick flies through the window, and they're all, "You're gonna tell everyone that there's vampires living here." And Nick points out that they are being followed by a documentary crew.
Yep. So people are going to find out one way or the other.
Right.
So is this more like The Office?
Yeah, like the vampires are aware that there's a documentary crew following.
Okay.
They frequently talk to the camera. It's
Do they understand what that means?
Yes.
I think, yeah. So, like, because I said it's a fake documentary, it's kind of like Best in Show.
Okay. Nice.
Then, Nick, so earlier when the vampires were going out, they couldn't get into any clubs to meet ladies to feed off of because they need to be invited into the club. And Nick, because he is newly turned, he still has human friends that will invite him into clubs.
Okay.
So the old vampires, Vlad and Vigo, start to like Nick better because he's getting them into clubs and stuff.
Okay.
Which makes Deegan all pissy. You find out that Viago came to New Zealand to follow a girl he was in love with,
Mhm.
but his like Renfield servant paid the postage wrong. So it took him like 2 years to get there.
Oh, jeez.
By the time he got to New Zealand, his lady love was already married. But
Aww.
so Viego sometimes hangs out looking longingly outside the nursing room home window where his lady love lives now. And then Nick is going around telling everyone he's a vampire.
Of course.
Even strangers.
Yeah, he's just running around going, I'm a vampire!
Is this a reality where people know that there are vampires or not?
No, it was, they show him at the club telling ladies, hey, you like Twilight? Well, I'm like the main guy in Twilight. And
I get it.
kind of roll their eyes at him. And
yeah, I was going to say, are people taking him, seriously? Or, I mean, if it's supposed to be the real world, obviously most people just think he's bonkers.
some goth girls, I think, were into it, but, like, most of the girls are rolling their eyes at him.
Sure.
They did this special effect thing, I think a 3D special effect, where he's telling, like, a 7-Eleven type place clerk that he's a vampire, and the guy's not believing him. So then he opens his jaw really wide and hisses at the guy, and the guy, like, gets shocked, is stunned. So that guy probably believes him.
Yeah.
But he only did that because that guy was making fun of him.
Yeah.
Sure.
The ladies who are just rolling their eyes and walking away, like, he's not picking up that they don't believe him. He then goes up to one guy and says, hey, I'm a vampire. And the dude goes, that's really weird, because I'm a vampire hunter. And he goes, no, don't you fucking shitting me. And then he like, exchanges Skype messages, like, names with that guy. And then later on, that guy breaks into the house and kills Peter.
Oh, no! I would think that Peter would be really hard to kill since he's a 3,000-year-old vampire.
Well, it looks like he snuck in during the day.
What? That's not even fair.
And of course Viago and Vlad and Nick and Deacon all get really upset.
Of course.
Best friend has been killed.
What happens to the vampire hunter?
Well, he's dead in the basement.
Okay. So he was killed in the process.
Yeah.
It was basically like the vampire hunter broke in the window, so sunlight got in, and then he tried to move the giant stone slab that covers Peter's coffin. Peter pushed it onto him, crushing him. But then got hit by the sunlight and was killed.
Sure. So Darwinism just kind of took over at some point.
Yeah. But meanwhile, the other reason why the older vampires before this liked Nick is because Nick introduced them to his human friend Stu. Who's a really boring, like, tech guy. But because the vampires don't know anything about technology,
okay,
he's really impressing them because he's, like, showing them where to find virgins on the internet and
how to watch sunsets or sunrises on YouTube.
Oh my God. He's like a wizard to them. He's like some magical being.
Yeah. And he's just a really nice, quiet guy.
Yeah, who's just sort of like hanging out. And whenever something like crazy happens with the vampires, it always like cuts to Stu, who's just sort of staring there, unsure what to do.
Yeah. He's like the Jim. Is he looking at the camera like, I don't know?
Not even doing that. He's kind of just like...
He's the straight man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was not an actor when he first started working with them. He was one of the crew who kept like the cords out of the way, and they said they asked him to be in a scene and then kept asking him to be in another scene, and basically he's just himself. That was
awesome.
just a nice guy And they're all, let's get the nice guy to be in the show.
No drama. He's not trying to take any screen time away from anyone else. He's just there to bring technology to the vampires. So even with Jackie in the mix, they've just stayed away from technology, just the isolation.
So, yeah, because Jackie only does what they ask her to do.
Sure.
So because they don't know about the internet, they never bothered to ask.
Okay. Okay. So it seems like Jackie's really not very proactive. I can see why they didn't want to make her a vampire.
They were just wanting to take advantage of her is all.
Yeah, they just wanted someone to do the dishes.
Yeah.
Oh. So with this new technology, do their lives improve? I mean, does Nick learn to shut up?
No.
Well, Nick learns to shut up after Peter dies. He gets banned from the house and banned from talking to them because, he resulted in Peter dying. It's funny, they're listing his crimes, and it's like, you've brought a human into our home, but actually that's fine because Stu's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you told a vampire hunter, and that is a big deal. Like, that one we can't ignore.
You have to live in a safe space, You have to feel safe at your home.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They set boundaries.
Yeah.
You believe.
But while they were doing, like, their first night out with Nick, they run Deacon to cause trouble. Picks a fight with some werewolves. And when I found out about What We Do in Shadows, I saw the trailer, and I was like, I have to see this movie, and then found out it was only playing in New Zealand.
Oh.
Like a year and a half later, they did a Kickstarter to get it distributed in the U.S. So I am expecting a T-shirt from the makers of the movie.
Nice.
It's my favorite line that the werewolves say, which is, "We're werewolves, not swearwolves." Clean up your language, guys.
Okay. So there's werewolves in the movie. When do they come into play?
They just sort of have a really petty argument with the vampires and then leave.
They show up and are like, hey, dude.
Your car's talking by, and then Deacon tries to pick a fight with them, and it's like, hey, we're just minding our own business, and what the hell? And then the leader tells the werewolf not to swear.
Okay.
And the leader of the werewolf is a famous New Zealand comedian named Rhys. Where's his name? Rhys Darby. And I'm looking right now to see if I can remember what he was in.
He is in Flight of the Conchords as their agent. So they lose track of Nick for a little while, and then they all get invited to basically a vampire gathering, and Vlad thinks he's going to be the guest of honor, but actually it's his nemesis, the Beast, which it turns out is his ex-girlfriend.
Everyone thinks their ex-girlfriend's a beast. That's not nice.
Nope, not nice at all.
It was funny because they build it up, and there's all these old-fashioned etchings of him, like, battling monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Is she a vampire too, then?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's, like, got a Camilla bathing in the blood of young ladies thing going on.
Nice. Okay. So she's got her own thing going on now.
Yeah. Is her date the guy with the weird prosthetics?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks kind of like the Penguin in one of the more modern Batman movies, but kind of purple.
Danny DeVito's character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So she lures her ex-boyfriend to a party, and then
No,
what?
it's like a big party where every vampire in New Zealand's invited, and Vlad thought he was going to be the guest of honor because
Oh, and
now the oldest vampire in New Zealand, and it's actually his girlfriend's the guest of honor.
Is she the oldest vampire in New Zealand? Was that the point of the guest of honor?
I don't know. They're never really clear on what makes you the guest of honor that year.
Sure.
But Vlad really thought it was his turn.
Aww.
And then he says he's going to just do his dark biddings on the internet.
I can see vampires doing really well in chat rooms, once they figure out how the technology and typing and things like that.
So they get to the ball, which is supposed to be, there's like a few month gap between when they kick Nick out and when they go to this ball. And they see Nick at the ball, and Nick has done two things that all the other vampires in New Zealand are not crazy about. One is Nick turned Jackie into a vampire.
Finally! Well, that's good. That's nice.
So Deacon was an asshole and was never going to do it, but Nick was all right with it.
Yep.
Also, Nick brought Stu to the vampire party.
And humans are not allowed. And
Sure.
then a verbal fight breaks out. Some name calling was done.
Oh, no.
And then there were threats that the camera crew would be eaten.
Of course, I didn't think. The camera crew, of course, is human as well.
Yeah. So the main cast of the movie is all in trouble for bringing humans to the party. So they have to escape to save Stu. And then they run into the werewolves again, who are about to transform.
And Rhys Darby was in, he had a comedy show called Short Poppies, which is on Netflix.
Excellent.
That's how I remembered it.
And all the werewolves are wearing tracksuits because that's the only thing that is stretchy enough to not rip while they change.
Nice. Okay. Very fashionable. Lots of options.
So then they all turn into werewolves and they fight the vampires. Stu gets killed.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Deacon tries to comfort Nick about... And then he just says a lot of really, really absurd deaths. Like, you're eating crackers and then you are pecked to death by ducks. And he's trying to make a point that, like, fate is fickle and you never know what's going to happen.
Sure. Well, they could have made Stu a vampire. I mean, they made Jackie a vampire.
But, so, Stu has been mauled by the werewolves. And
Guts are laying everywhere, all over the lawn.
Oh.
they're very sad. And then because life is short, Viago goes to the nursing home and reintroduces himself to his lady love, and then turns 90-year-old her into a vampire so they can be together.
Oh. Now, how old does he appear to be?
He appears to be, I would say, like early 30s.
Okay, so he's got a hot older lady now.
She's just a grandma.
Oh, wait,
Not even like hot, she's just a grandma.
he does talk about it, and he says,
It's like, people are like, oh, doesn't the age difference like weird you out? And so what's this 200 and something year old doing with a lady half his age?
That's funny.
they call me, they call me a cradle robber, I think he says.
And then
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
the grandma says, she goes, well, I'm a grave robber.
Oh, wow. So she's psyched. She's into it.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Cute together.
they're
Aw.
super adorable.
Did she move into the house?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you find out Stu is alive.
Yes.
Is now a werewolf.
Yep.
Oh.
And then the werewolves and those vampires in the flat, they get together and they have a nice time.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that's
become
good.
friends. They're brought together by Nick and Stu.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Forming a community, maintaining ties with the modern world. See, I like that. I like that. What's Stu like as a vampire or a werewolf? Same thing?
The same.
Very just a straight man, very quiet.
He's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you guys really enjoyed this then?
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It sounds hilarious. Did you see it in the theater or did you watch it online?
I saw it in theater twice.
Okay, okay.
I saw it with her once. And it's still
Excellent.
playing in Portland, apparently. I looked it up today.
Okay.
It's still playing at one place. I can't remember which place. But
The place that we saw it, because that was the only place that was playing it earlier.
Or is that the Hollywood or the Laurelhurst or?
Cinema 21 or something like that?
Oh, Cinema 21.
Okay.
Well, I might have to get a babysitter and make it a date night. I think that would be a cross thing for me and my husband to watch.
Yeah. I like that it's set in New Zealand. Like, I don't know a whole lot about... I've never been to New Zealand, but the place... I think they're in Brighton. Is that the name of the town?
I don't remember.
Anyway, it makes it sound like it's a pretty small town. It doesn't sound like it's a huge place.
Sure.
And
no Lord of the Rings jokes or anything like that?
No, they're all in Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
But apparently, I did when I was doing research, reminding myself and getting some little tidbits I could talk about. Apparently, the hill that the werewolves, and the vampires meet on is one of the hills where they shot some Lord of the Rings.
Okay. Nice.
I know that there's in Flight of the Conchords, their agent is also a travel agent that talks people into visiting New Zealand, and he has a bunch of posters, and one is like, Lord of the Rings was filmed here.
Sure. It's claim to fame.
I also like that there are people of color in this movie. Both Taika and Jermaine. Jermaine says that he's part Maori, and Taika says he's Maori. I don't know about the other actors though.
Because Taika is fairly dark-skinned, he has really obvious makeup to make him look a lot paler.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's, like, when it gets to his hair, you can see, like, there's a tiny bit of, like, his actual skin color showing.
In one of the interviews, they talked about that, how they used their girlfriend's makeup, just regular makeup, and they noticed after filming that their makeup stopped here. They had not, like, blended it.
Classic mistake. Classic. Oh, boy. That is awesome. So what were, beyond that, what were your favorite and least favorite parts of the movie for each of you?
Oh, I don't really have a least favorite part.
Yeah, that's cool.
There was a pretty great joke because when they're talking about eating virgins, Deacon says, "'Cause it sounds cooler," but then they cut to Vlad, and then he says, "Well, you know, if someone gives you a sandwich, you would just feel better about that sandwich, knowing that no one had fucked it."
Yeah, I can't really argue with that. That's pretty solid reasoning right there.
That may be my least favorite. But my most favorite is Viago and his girlfriend. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. His
Sure.
lady.
Sure.
Yeah, because they are just so sweet together.
So do they reconcile with Nick at the end?
Yeah.
Everybody being happy together.
Yep.
That's great.
No.
Aw.
And it's super cute.
I like too that they take all the things that we say vampires are, like the not being able to see in a mirror, take all those things and show like why that might be a problem. Like,
Sure.
Yes, them getting dressed up for going out is a pretty entertaining sort of montage because none of them can see themselves in the mirror.
yeah.
Okay. You just see the clothes in front of it?
No, they're like drawing each other to show each other what they look like.
Because once they put their clothes on, even their clothes don't show in the mirror.
Okay.
And like how drinking blood might even be a problem if you care about your furniture. And,
Okay. Blood stains. I can see that.
and how hitting the main artery
Mm-hmm.
could make a giant mess.
Yeah, no, there's a scene where Viago is gonna, like, he's about to eat a lady and he's asking her, like, to tell me about yourself, and she's talking about all her plans for the future, and he's like, uh-huh, while he's putting newspapers down.
Oh.
And he puts a fancy napkin, cloth napkin, in his shirt
Mm-hmm.
while he's pretending to listen.
Sure. Does she think she's on a date?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the worst date
Okay. Yeah. That's a bad Tinder swipe right there. Forget it.
ever. At the end, he does have some remorse for killing her, mostly for making the mess.
Oh.
But he does say, I think she had a good time.
Till I opened her up and drank all of her blood.
Even more than it was the worst date ever.
So if you had to sum it up in a sentence or two for someone to tell them why they should see the movie, how would you describe it?
There,
Just, it's a hilarious look into the daily lives of vampires.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Kels.
So if you had to make this into like a movie night with a couple other movies, what would pair well with it, do you think?
Oh,
Oh, I would actually pair it with Best in Show and make it a mockumentary night. Wow.
Okay. All right.
I was thinking you were asking about food.
You
So-
could do that too. That's a good one.
So, I don't drink, but I'm going to have a nice red wine. Although,
Of course.
ask someone who knew about red wine what to get.
Spread some newspaper around first.
Yes, I would spread newspaper around. Some nice finger foods would be good.
Mhm.
On
Mhm.
very fancy plates with
Of course.
cloth napkins.
Yep. Right in.
Yeah. Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. There's a lot of comedies that I watch that I just go, oh, like, I just,
Too dirty or just not your thing or?
rape jokes and
Oh yeah.
I don't
Yep,
mind dirty. I don't mind dirty as long as it's
Yeah.
consensual dirty.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
And even though it obviously some of these people did not consent to being eaten by vampires, still there wasn't really times where I was all, oh my gosh, I can't handle this joke. That joke totally bothers me, makes me uncomfortable.
Sure. Well, a lot of vampire fiction in movies is kind of like plays on sexual aggression and consent issues and things like that. So it seems like they kind of cleverly sidestepped a lot of that with this movie.
Yeah, they don't punch down is the term for it.
Okay. Sure.
They addressed all the uncomfortableness that you should feel when
Mhm.
someone's being killed.
Did they leave room for a sequel?
I hope they make a sequel that's about the werewolves.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I saw several interviews where people asked that same question because it is such a good movie. And they said that they have thought about doing one that's about the werewolves.
Yep, yep. They could, they could do a few. They can introduce another supernatural type of being in the next one and just keep going.
Yeah.
What else is there? Witches and warlocks, obviously. Hobbits. They're already in New Zealand. I mean, might as well.
Yeah. Ghosts.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
Yep, yep. Ghosts have to be the next big thing, right? We've done vampires. We've done zombies. We need a new wave of sexy ghosts.
And come back from the 80s ghost thing. We could do
like Ghost?
Yeah, we could do a remake of Ghost.
Oh my! They're already remaking Point Break. I think I might have hit my limit of Patrick Swayze remakes right now. I have to get my cord because it fell. Excuse me.
Maybe they can do something like that with Lady Ghostbusters that's being made right now.
Oh yes, I did read a bunch about that actually, about the premise. It sounds fairly close to the original premise.
Just with ladies?
Just with ladies. There's like a defamed, I think, Kristen Wiig's character. She's some sort of professor, and her career is derailed when a book that she and Melissa McCarthy wrote back in the day surfaces. So she's fired, and she teams back up with Melissa McCarthy, who is with Kate McKinnon's character, and they band together from there. So yeah, sexy ghosts. They have sexy Thor. Chris Hemsworth is going to be their secretary, so receptionist.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have y'all heard if they're still gonna do the all-male Ghostbuster remake too?
I haven't heard anything else about that since it was first brought up. So
yeah, I'm sure it's inevitable. I'm sure it's coming, but I am excited that it seems like the female one is actually going forward and not, being trampled by the male one.
Yeah,
they're filming it, so
yeah.
Yep.
wait for it to get canceled now.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the movie? Do you
Let's
still
see.
watch it?
What's that? Oh yeah, actually, I think my question is if I can get it online anywhere. I'm wondering because it's more likely that I'll be able to watch it at home.
I think it comes out on DVD next month.
Okay.
In the U.S., it's been on DVD in New Zealand for a while now, but
Sure. When was the movie filmed?
2014 is when early 2014 is when it came out in New Zealand.
Okay.
It came out here a few months ago.
But they started doing it they started writing it and stuff in the early 2000s.
It sounds like the kind of movie you could watch time and time again, like on a rainy day. Like, is that kind of how you guys feel about that movie?
Yeah. I totally want to watch it again.
Nice. That sounds, that absolutely. You've convinced me. I want to watch this movie now.
Yay. All right.
I'm looking for info on the DVD real quick.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think I've seen 2 movies in the theater since I had my daughter. So, Gone Girl and Avengers 2. That shows kind of where my priorities are right now, I guess.
August 2015.
Okay.
Just a few months.
Yeah.
Not too long. I'll still look up where it is in the theaters. Maybe I can get out and see it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Have you guys ever watched The Last Supper movie? I think in the 90s.
I can buy it on iTunes right now.
Oh, well then. I might be watching this tonight.
So what was in The Last Supper? I'm trying to remember.
It was a bunch of roommates, liberal roommates, who would have a conservative come over for dinner, and then kind of have political debates, and they invite one guy, and he turns violent, and they kill him and bury him in the backyard. So they started talking about, what if you met Hitler when you were young, when he was young, before he was, Hitler prime, like, should you kill him? So they start bringing in real right-wing type individuals who are, they think are a danger, and they kill them and bury them in the backyard, and It's a satirical comedy. It's one of those 90s. It's kind of like Friends, but with a dark bent. But
Yeah.
this was the other thing. When I read the description, this kind of reminded me of that. But.
I
Familiar.
I have just purchased What We Do in Shadows in iTunes.
Nice.
And there's evidence now on YouTube that you purchased it.
Yeah.
Well, is that a good point to stop?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
thanks everyone for watching. Next time we're doing a Ask Me About My Draculas, our guest is going to be Kevin Panetta, and we're going to talk about a really terrible anime.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
I do not know about this movie. I look forward to hearing about the very terrible anime.
Awful. It's everything you hate.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for having me. This was fun, and I feel like I've learned about a new movie that I will enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on, Elizabeth.
Yay!
Bye, everybody.